We all know generative AI is this incredibly powerful thing, but what if it's also powerfully wrong? Today, we're going to tackle the single biggest challenge holding AI back. How do we actually make it trustworthy? We're going way beyond the hype to see what it really takes to get AI right. Just think about that for a second. What if you could ask an AI to summarize, say, a super complex legal contract and be 100% certain it didn't just invent a clause out of thin air? Getting all the amazing benefits of AI without that nagging fear that it's just making stuff up? That is the core problem we are diving into today. Okay, so let's get right into the core issue here. Even the most advanced, mind-blowing AI models have two pretty fundamental flaws. First, they hallucinate, which is really just a polite way of saying they confidently make things up. And second, their knowledge is totally frozen in time, kind of like a textbook that was printed years ago. These are the exact problems a technique called RAG was designed to solve.
So on the one hand, you've got this incredible promise, which you see there on the left, instant answers, instant synthesis. But on the right, you have the reality for any serious business. These problems are absolute deal breakers. You just can't build a mission-critical system on an AI that might be confidently wrong or using totally outdated information.
Now, this is where things get really interesting. Developers came up with this incredibly elegant solution to solve this. It's called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like giving your AI a library pass for an open book exam. So, what does that actually mean? Well, instead of the AI answering from its own vast but kind of static memory, RAG connects it to a live library of your trusted documents at the exact moment you ask a question. This grounds its answers in real, verifiable facts from your world, not just some statistical patterns from its old training data. And the process is just brilliantly simple. When you ask a question, the system first retrieves the most relevant bits of information from your knowledge base. Then it augments your prompt by literally stuffing that retrieved text in as context. Finally, the AI generates an answer based specifically on that evidence, which, by the way, is how it can even cite its sources. Pretty cool, right?
And this table, it just lays it all out, crystal clear. Look at the difference. A standard LLM is stuck with its frozen training data, which leads to a super high risk of hallucination. But a RAG-powered LLM, as you can see, is tapped into a live knowledge base. This dramatically lowers the risk, keeps the information fresh, and, this is a big one, makes the sources citable. It fundamentally transforms the AI from a smart but unreliable student into a diligent researcher.
So, RAG seems like the magic bullet, right? Problem solved. Well, not quite. This is where our story takes a really fascinating and honestly unexpected turn. Industry reports are showing a pretty staggering number. 72 to 80% of enterprise RAG projects are failing in production. So, what on earth is going wrong? It turns out the failure point isn't the AI model, and it's not the RAG architecture. It's something much, much more fundamental. And here it is, the crucial insight. The problem isn't the AI, it's the library we're giving it. See, if that trusted library is actually full of outdated, duplicated, or just plain wrong documents, RAG doesn't fix any of that. It just teaches your brilliant AI to be confidently wrong, but on a massive scale. And hey, this isn't just a theory. This chart shows a controlled study. Using the exact same AI and the exact same RAG system, the hallucination rate with messy, ungoverned data was over 50%. But look what happens when you point it at a clean, governed source. The rate just plummets to almost zero. The only thing that changed was the quality of the data. And that is why data governance has suddenly become the most important conversation in AI. It's not just some buzzword anymore. It means making sure your data is actually well described with metadata, that it's current, that it's free of duplicates, and it's properly access controlled, just like you see here. Without this clean foundation, you are literally just training your AI to amplify whatever chaos already exists in your organization. But what if even having clean data isn't quite enough? The next evolution in this whole space recognizes that it's not just about the quality of individual documents, it's also about understanding the relationships between them. And this is where something called Graph RAG enters the picture. Okay, so think of it like this. Standard RAG is like a super-powered search engine. It's amazing at finding relevant paragraphs. But Graph RAG it's fundamentally different. It's like a detective. It first builds this incredible knowledge map, literally connecting the dots between all the people, products, and ideas in your data before it even tries to answer a question.
This unlocks a whole new level of insight. The AI can now answer these incredibly complex questions that require connecting bits of information from all over the place, like the one you see here: which suppliers are linked to delayed products. It can also see the big picture, identifying key themes across thousands of documents. And this is only possible because it understands the underlying structure of the data, not just the words on the page. And the performance results are, well, they're stunning. In enterprise tests, just understanding these relationships leads to a 3.4 times improvement in the accuracy and the completeness of the answers compared to traditional RAG. It just proves that context from connections is unbelievably powerful. So, after this whole journey from basic LLMs all the way to sophisticated graph RAG, what's the single most important thing to take away from all this? It's this: the frontier of AI has totally shifted. It's no longer just about building bigger and more powerful models. The real breakthrough, the real game changer, is building a smarter, cleaner, and more structured context layer for those models to work with. This quote from the research it says it all, doesn't it? In study after study, the biggest jumps in AI performance didn't come from swapping out the model for a fancier one. Nope. They came from improving the quality, the governance, and the structure of the data feeding it. And that brings us to the final and most crucial question you should be asking. As you start implementing AI, are you building a system that's genuinely smarter? Or are you just building an expensive machine to be more confidently wrong? Because the answer lies not in the AI model you choose, but in the health of your data foundation.